You read the title. Yes, your go-to sub might be more lab than lunch. In the next few minutes, we'll pull back the wrapper on 10 trick sandwich chains used to make factory food look freshly made. If you've ever wondered why the bread feels like cake, why grill marks show up with no grill, or why your nose gets hit before your order does, stay with me. By the end, you'll know the difference between real fresh and staged fresh, and you'll spot the industrial shortcuts the moment you walk in. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Cake bread. Let's start with the bun. Your sub roll chews like birthday cake because it's built to be soft, sweet, and sturdy for hours. That's not grandma's recipe. It's a formula. Fresh baked sounds artisan, but the dough often arrives pre-mixed with helpers that make it behave. Conditioners and emulsifiers trap gas so the loaf rises big, then keep those bubbles from collapsing. Think of them as tiny scaffolds that hold the crumbs soft long past lunchtime. Added sugar and oil pull double duty. They brown fast, smell great, and hide staleness with a sweet edge and a tender bite. Food science explains the appeal. Enriched, high-sugar dough hits the reward centers the way a pastry does. Chains lock down moisture and density, so bread slices clean at speed and glides through toaster tunnels without crumbling. That soft give, it's the spec. Here's the real kicker. If the roll tears like cotton candy and tastes sweet before you add anything, you're eating dessert with deli meat. Softness and aroma are engineered signals, not proof of a morning bake. The restructured meat slices, those perfect round slices that never crumble, that uniform shape is planned. Whole roasts are lumpy. Grain runs different ways, and ends fall apart. To dodge that mess and cost, chains use restructured protein, small bits bound into a tidy log that slices like a stamp. Here's how it's built. Pieces go into a tumbler that beats them up just enough to pull out sticky proteins. Then a brine, salt and phosphates, gets injected to lock in water and make that glue work. Starches, gums, or enzymes finish the job, so paper-thin shaves hold together without tearing. Targets for sodium and moisture aren't about taste. They're set so the slicer can fly, stacks stay neat, and yield goes up. Labeling even has names for this. Formed means pressed into shape. Chunked and formed means little pieces stuck together. Compare the feel and the purge in the bag, the extra liquid, to a true roast. Real muscle shows grain and an uneven chew. Restructured feels uniform, sometimes rubbery. If every slice looks identical, you're eating engineered consistency, not a butcher's cut. Shape and stackability are specs, not signs of quality. And the industry love of additives does not stop at meat. The yoga mat chemical. You've heard the yoga mat joke. The truth is less cute. A dough this obedient needs a lab assistant. Let's start with what a dough conditioner does. It helps tiny gas bubbles form and stay put, so loaves rise taller and don't cave in. It keeps the crumbs springy longer, so yesterday's bake still bends like new. It also makes the dough tougher in a good way, so it survives being mixed in one place, shipped cold, thawed, and baked fast in another. That's the playbook. Add a functional chemical to improve handling, volume, and softness at scale. Azotocarbonamide was one of those tools. Public pushback got it pulled in places, but the mission stayed. Swap in a different helper and you get the same results. Softer crumb, longer shelf life, fewer headaches when the truck runs late or the proof box runs hot. So what is the takeaway? The label can change, but the job doesn't. Bread is often built for logistics, not a dawn bake by a local baker. Fresh can mean chemically tuned to travel, sit, and slice at speed. And when the label gets vague, the protein claims get even murkier. Tuna mystery meat. If the sign says ocean fresh, but your mouth says paste, that's your first clue. Tuna with real muscle should flake. This stuff smears. Chains want speed. Uniform scoops that spread in seconds call for pre-blended mixes heavy on mayo, stabilizers, and brine-packed fish. Brine adds salt and water, which swells the mix and softens any real bite. Processors lean on fine flake, tiny pieces from canning, because it blends smooth and hides rough edges. Easy to portion, easy to sell, hard to mistake for a real fillet. Industrial mixers finish the job. High-speed blades shred muscle fibers and emulsify the fat with liquid, turning fish into a steady, gray mass. That uniformity masks batch-to-batch changes, but also mutes the C note you expect. Food testing adds another wrinkle. Species checks get tricky once meat is pulped, and seasoning can cover a lot. A heavy hit of salt, acid, and celery notes cleans up the edges and keeps the story simple. So here's the payoff. If it looks like a gray mound and tastes mostly like mayo and salt, you're not eating a steak from the sea, you're eating an optimized spread. Your nose knows what comes next. This smell is a marketing tactic. Why does it smell like a bakery 2 blocks away, even at 9 p.m.? Because scent is part of the set. Warmers, sugar-heavy bakes, and repeated toast cycles pump out a perfume of caramelized crust that grabs you before you read the board. Here's the engine behind that smell. Maillard browning, heat on proteins and sugars, builds roasted notes, while extra sugar browns fast and throws a sweet aroma. Holding cabinets and toaster tunnels don't just heat. They vent. Those vents push steam and volatile aromas into the dining area and out the door. HVAC helps seal the deal. Open baking near the counter and directional airflow waft scent toward the entry and sidewalk. You smell fresh on approach and your stomach says yes. Consumer behavior research backs it up. Ambient aroma increases how long you linger, boosts perceived freshness, and nudges sales. The smell sets the story before the food hits your tray. So if the scent hits before the menu does, take the hint. It's a nudge, not proof. Engineered aroma primes you to taste fresh, even when the parts were prepped hours ago. Now about those bright, crisp veggies. Vegetables aren't always locally sourced. The sign says farm fresh. Which farm? Which season? In a national chain, the answer is a warehouse, not a roadside stand. Here's the truth. Big networks lean on centralized suppliers sending pre-washed, pre-cut bags sealed under gas mixes that slow spoilage. That crisp snap survives long trips because modified atmosphere packaging slows respiration and keeps microbes in check. Bags are triple washed, date stamped, and built to last several days after delivery, so the bin looks full and the line moves. Crispness isn't only about harvest date. Cold storage firms up cell walls. Cut geometry, thin shreds, coins, and planks, helps hold structure and drain better on the line. It looks peak. Flavor often lags. Logistics drive the menu. Food safety specs, a tight cold chain, and strict delivery windows favor large growers who can hit those marks. Local becomes a flexible label that can still mean the produce rode trucks, saw a wash line, and sat in a chilled hub before your store. If your winter tomato looks perfect but tastes mealy, that's supply chain magic, not peak season. The look is standardized. The flavor is optional. Standardization has another cost. Salt, the sodium bomb. That light lunch can pack a day's worth of salt before the chips ever hit the tray. The truth is, salt is the cheapest rescue squad for food that's been frozen, reheated, or held. It wakes up dull meats, flat sauces, and sweet bread that needs a kick. Let's start with the stack. Brine meats bring sodium from the bath. Pickles, olives, and pepper rings pile on more. Dressings land a heavy hit, and even the roll carries salt baked in. In processed meats, salt helps bind water so slices feel juicier and yield more. In spreads, it slows spoilage, so tubs last longer. That's why the numbers climb fast. Dietary guidelines cap daily sodium at 2,300 milligrams, with 1,500 as the ideal for most adults. A single fast casual sandwich often eats up half of that. Chains know the totals, which is why their websites and kiosks offer nutrition calculators that show how extra sauce and double meat push you past the line. If you leave thirsty, that's not an accident. Salt is carrying the flavor load for industrial shortcuts. And there is a portion trick that hides the math. The scoop trick. Ever notice a generous mound that shrinks once it's spread? That's not sloppy prep. That's the scoop trick doing its job. Portion tools like scoops, spoodles, and deli sheets build a tall dome that reads, "Wow," at the counter. Then it hits the bread, the air bleeds out, and the layer goes thin. Airy salads and chopped fillings trap pockets of air like a whipped dessert. Impressive in the bin. Flat on contact. Ice cream-style scoops make perfect half spheres that look heavy, but that shape depends on trapped air and a chilled, stiff mix. Warm it with toast or pressure from the knife, and the structure collapses. Training leans into this. Staff get taut coverage, edge-to-edge spread, over mass. The IC's a full canvas, not the grams. Shredded lettuce and fluffed salads are ringers for this move. Shreds stack high, weigh little, and sell the idea of extra, even when the scale says otherwise. So if it looks huge in the line but flat in your hand, that's design, not a mistake. You're buying coverage, not heft. The same stagecraft shows up on the grill, without a grill. Fake grill marks. You saw the stripes. You didn't hear the sizzle. That's your tell. Par-cooked proteins arrive from a plant already browned or with lines pressed on. Some run under marking rollers that stamp dark bars in seconds. Others get flash grilled at a factory, cooled, and shipped with stripes baked in. It looks backyard. It's staging. Here's the difference that matters to you. Real searing builds a crust and deep roasted flavor because heat meets the meat long enough to trigger browning. Surface marks alone don't do that. You can get perfect lines and still have a pale, mild interior that tastes like warm deli. Chains avoid true grills for simple reasons: speed, smoke, and control. Real flames demand big ventilation, slow cook times, and tight temperature logs. That slows a lunch rush. So they lean on rapid ovens and impingers that blast hot air to finish pre-cooked items fast. It's efficient. It's consistent. It's not the same as a hot grate. So if the stripes are ruler straight and the center looks steamed, you're seeing costume, not craft. The grill is often a printer for lines. And if you think the secret menu breaks the rules, let us talk about that plot twist. The secret menu is just an upsell. You feel like an insider ordering the off-menu special. The register feels it too. The truth is, the secret build is often the same parts from the line, shuffled and sold with a wing. Let's start with margins. Sauces and toppings are cheap to make, but easy to price high when bundled as a custom combo. A drizzle here, a premium spread there, and the check jumps while costs barely budge. Naming does the rest. Give a basic stack a catchy label, and it reads rare, even if every bin is standard issue. Here's the real kicker. Staff get trained to nudge add-ons. Double meat, extra cheese, a second sauce. Those boosts are standard items framed as upgrades. Behavioral pricing backs the move. A secret or limited time style pitch works like a decoy. It steers you away from the base price and anchors you to the higher number. Custom builds also reset your expectations, so you feel value where margin sits. If it sounds exclusive yet uses the same parts, it's marketing, not magic. The secret is margin engineering. Now you know the 10 tells of the industrial illusion. You just saw how softness, smell, shape, salt, and stagecraft turn a factory product into a fresh performance. If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still trusts the toaster tunnel. Now use it. Ask for ingredient lists and nutrition info. Favor whole muscle proteins over formed slices. Skip extra sauces, pick simpler builds, and watch sodium drop. The truth is, small choices cut through the gloss and keep additives off your plate. Use the nutrition tools Chains post and vote with your order. Like and subscribe to help us keep the spotlight on the food industry's best-kept secrets.